Get very nice. Awesome. So it's 9 o'clock. Let's get started. Radhe Radhe, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and happy weekend. Happy weekend to all of you. It's Saturday for you, and it's weekend eve for us. So hope you're having a nice start to your weekend. So let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Today, uh, our quiz master is ready. He's prepared some questions to test how much of Tattva Gyan we've been able to grasp. So we'll do some discussion around it. And then I picked up a little unusual topic today. I picked up cars today. Okay. And see what spiritual lessons we can learn from a car. So let's get started by invoking the blessing of God and Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. So let's get started. Just give me a sec. I think let everybody join Rahul, then we can do that survey. So in the meantime, what I can do is I can share what I have to share today and get started with our discussion for today. Or we'll see if we have enough people, we can probably start with the survey itself. Okay, desktop, share sound, share. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. A very warm welcome to all of you. If you are new, we would love to hear from you. You can introduce yourself. We have a little bit of a time. So anybody new who wants to introduce them, you can raise your hand and we'll call upon you. But otherwise, we will get started. You can put it in chat and we'd love to hear from you as well. So today we are going to talk about, we are going to have a survey-based quiz like we did last time. And we are going to look at what this beautiful car teaches us. Okay, and there are some lessons hidden in everything if we think deeply about it. And this interactive poll-based quiz is something that will basically enable all of you to participate. Basically, we are not going to do it through Kahoot. Like you saw, we were running polls, and polls is a good way to get involved in and test your knowledge. So we are going to do a quick recap of some of the key concepts through the polls, and then we'll get into the topic of our discussion today. So let's get started. So Friday session are usually for recap, and we'll pick up some topic on Friday session. So this is how I envision it going forward. We'll do a quick recap, and then I'll pick up a topic related to Bhagavad Gita, which will pick up some topic, from previous chapters, which is of importance from a foundational understanding standpoint. And that way we can recap that topic for the benefit of everybody, so that foundationally we all have a similar understanding as we continue to progress on this journey. So with that said, Rahul, over to you. Let's put our polls out there and get started with it. We'll give some time for people to respond because we have a few questions, right? So let's get started. Let's post poll.
It seems like Surya Prakash ji has a question or comment.
Yes, Surya Prakash, you already have a question. I hope it's not related to car or the color of car.
No, it is not the question, sir. What we learned from the lesson, that's what I want to say, sir.
Sure.
Means we can learn from the driving the car is the discipline basically, I feel anybody who drives either a car, or basically car, they learn the discipline, number one, and they will also learn the person who is going in the front side, the mental uh, mm, mental strength or mentality of the persons who are traveling before and backside. Means they try to understand, then only he can drive the car.
Sure, sure. No, that's great point. We'll get to that as well. Yes, you can learn discipline like Salman Khan learned it the hard way, right? So we can certainly learn discipline in a lot of ways. So with that said, let's get started. Rahul, over to you. I'm going to stop share. You can share the questions for the day, and then we will get the discussion going by doing the recap that we're going to do. So over to you.
Let me know if
Are you all
can
able to
hear.
see, take the poll? Are you able to see the poll and take the poll? Is everybody able to see that? Great. Okay, so you all can participate. We have more than 50, close to 60 participants. I would like to see responses from everyone. And then one by one, we will go through each of these questions, depending upon the kind of responses you have given, and have a discussion just to make sure we all have a similar understanding. Are we seeing some responses coming in already, or I don't know, for some reason I'm not able to.
No, I don't think so.
Have we launched the poll?
Yes, Prabhaji, are you able to see that and click that on that? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, now we are seeing something.
Yes, now I see some responses have started coming in. Okay, great. Yeah, I think we should have all the participants take a shot at it. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, 6 questions, in fact. So 6 questions should not take more than 10 minutes for all of you to take a good look at it, give it a serious thought, and go for it. Most powerful technique of meditation. Okay, somebody's saying visual. Few people are saying mindful meditation. Mindful. Okay, see, be careful. It is mindful or mindful. Okay, Vipassana meditation, body scan meditation. Then Ekant sadhana should be performed daily, weekly. Primary purpose of sadhana is to purify our inner world. Which one is a prime requisite of the following? And which important ingredients are there for Hari Guru Seva? And purpose of satsang is to have dash. All right. So we have 24 of 57, 42% participation. I think we can do close to 80%, or if not 100%. Everybody can take a shot at it. There's no negative marking here, and nobody would come to know, even if we have gotten, most, if not all of the questions wrong. It's just a matter of understanding or having our, correct understanding around some of these concepts that we have spoken about, and we can have a discussion around it as well. Okay, we have 35. That's good. Let's see if we can get close to 50 participants. Most of the participants, they should be able to take the poll. Taking poll is not very difficult. You have to pick a choice and click on it. That's it. It's very easy. I see people are still joining. So, by the way, while we are waiting, we have a heart symposium tomorrow. So please come over. Like Shamji was saying, it's important to get your heart checked before Valentine's. And we have that tomorrow here at Dallas RKT Temple, where we have some heart specialists who will be coming in, and you can get a report on your heart, and all the FAQs around heart checkup. Heart health is very important. Heart is the organ which pumps blood to our entire body, so it's important to maintain a healthy heart. And if you have any questions related to that, diet and a lot of stuff, tomorrow we have an in-person session with a doctor for 2-3 hours. So please do come over there. I had to make an announcement for that. And the other announcements are, of course, we have a family camp coming up. We have a Seva Sadhana week coming up. that you all can avail. Accommodation will be taken care. Food will be taken care as well, I believe. And friends will be taken care as well. Satsang. Okay. So everything will be taken care. You just have to turn up, do seva, immerse yourself in seva and sadhana for a week, and it will be a very great, it will be a very nice experience for all of you. Okay, now we are close to 50 people. 83% of you have responded, which is a pretty good turnout. I'll probably give 2 more minutes before we get into the gist of or discussing some of these questions. Good. I think we have very good participation in quiz poll today. We still have more participants joining in. So maybe we can give another 2 minutes for you to take a good look at the questions and answer it. If for some reason you're not able to, you can make a note of it in your notebook just to verify if you got the answer right or not. Okay. Rahul, we good to get started then?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
More than 85% participation.
Yeah, we have pretty good participation. If any one of you wants us to wait a little bit, you can raise your hand. If Rahulji agrees, then we will wait. Otherwise, we will start discussing.
Yeah, I think we can give 1 or 2 minutes more. There are some questions in the chat.
Okay, Rahulji's raised hands. Okay, we will give them. Okay. Today, Rahulji is in a good mood, so we'll give you 2 more minutes. Okay. Yeah, let's give about 2 minutes and then we'll get started. So we have interesting set of questions related to the meditation, sadhana, the frequency of sadhana, the purpose of sadhana, and the key element when we do seva, and the most important ingredients that are required when we do seva, and when we do satsang, what is the key ingredient, what is the key thing that we need to be focusing on while doing satsang.
Yeah, I tried to have those questions based on the 3 S's which we had discussed.
Right. No, it's very nicely crafted questions, Rahul. I think it covers the whole spectrum of what we spoke about, so we'll have a quick discussion on that as well. Okay, I think we can probably get started. Madhuji, is it okay?
Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Yes, you're saying something, Madhuji?
Radhe Radhe.
Yes,
Radhe,
we can hear you. Yeah. You
Okay.
might not be able to hear us probably. Also.
Yeah, there may be some audio problem on your end, but let's get started. You can still cross-check it. So the first question is most powerful technique of meditation, and it's a single choice. 67% have gone with visual meditation. 20%, the next best one is the mindful meditation, vipassana, body scan meditation. Mindfulness is needed regardless of whichever meditation that we do, but the most powerful was the keyword there. And even otherwise, I think, I don't know, maybe it's a trick question Rahulji put, because he put mindful, that your mind is full. Okay. So
mindfulness, but the main thing is visual meditation, which equates to Rup Dhyan.
I'm just kidding, because you said mindful, full mind. Okay, it's mindful, one L, it should be there. That means yes. So see, it is said that when we are meditating, right? Meditation is the sleep is subconscious. It's like meditation. Sleep is subconscious meditation. Okay, or when you are sleeping, you are doing not subconscious, unconscious meditation. Sleep is unconscious meditation, and meditation is conscious sleep. Okay, and within meditation, the visual meditation, which is called Rup Dhyan, is the strongest. Okay, and the reason for that is because you are tapping into the divine. You are actually putting that thing. So if you have Rup Dhyan on one side, right, and here is a balance, and all other kind of meditations on the other side, this will trump it, because this is the most powerful technique. Even otherwise, when we visualize, we are able to actualize and realize. And Roop Dhyan actually takes benefit of the fact that we are used to forms. And when we think about God, even though it is through a material mind, you still get the divine benefit because you are bringing in those sentiments. So it's a very powerful technique to purify your mind. Okay, so visual meditation is the most powerful one, provided you can get yourself to practice that with discipline and regularity. Okay. It may be difficult to begin with, but this is the most powerful meditation. All other meditation techniques can help you bring focus, okay, better breath control and stuff like that, but it will not bring in the cleansing of antakaran, because you're not bringing in God into the mix. Those meditations would help you bring focus and other things, maybe even siddhis, concentration. But when you're out of that meditation, the impurities of our antakaran would still subsist. They will not go away anywhere. Yes, Sandhya, you had a question?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I was just curious to know what is body scan meditation.
Body scanning is something where you just focus on the sensation. In fact, Vipassana is also called body scan, where you simply tolerate, you just understand it is happening, this is happening, it is happening, feeling is happening, muscles are straining, you just tolerate it. So you're scanning your body until those sensations fade away. Vipassana is based on that. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Then the second question was Ekant sadhana should be performed. Somebody said weekly. Okay. And nobody said bi-weekly, and nobody said monthly. No, and yearly is not an option at all. So daily is the right answer. Yes, we should do it daily as best as possible. And we spoke about this concept that when we do Ekant sadhana, it is called Karam Sannyas sadhana also. You're taking your mind away from the world. And when you retreat from the world, we spoke about that analogy of milk, water. The milk, when it comes in contact with water, it gets diluted. However, the same milk, when you make yogurt out of it by keeping it away from water, and then you churn the yogurt, then you can extract butter out of it. And then that butter can float on top of that water and challenge it that you can't do anything to me. And that is what Ekant Sadhana does. When we retreat our mind from the world and just have a razor sharp focus on God, tame our mind, it sets us up for becoming that butter finally. So it has to be done on a daily basis. And Roop Dhyan meditation is very powerful technique with regards to doing that Ekant Sadhana when it is a one-on-one with God. Yes, Poonam ji, you had a question?
गुड मॉर्निंग, मैं आपके शहर में पहुंच चुकी हूँ।
अरे
आवाज आ रही है?
पास से ही आ रही है।
आवाज आ रही है मेरी? आवाज नहीं आ रही?
मुझे दो तरफ से आ रही है। एक तो
मुझे आपकी आवाज आ रही है एकदम संजय सर।
हाँ पूनम जी, मैं आपकी आवाज सुन पा रहा हूँ स्क्रीन पे भी।
मुझे आपकी आवाज आ रही है, मैं आपको फिर से कॉल करूँ।
अच्छा, I think Poonam ji was talking to somebody. Sorry. Okay. No worries. So the third question is, primary purpose of sadhana is to purify our inner world. And everybody has said true, which is outstanding. This is the right answer. We have two worlds, outer world, which is objective, which is what it is, which is true. It is, we had a discussion about asat and mithya. It is asat, it is temporary, but it is not mithya, it is very real. But the inner world that we create is our own creation. It is mithya. And spirituality is all about finishing off that inner world. The day we fix our inner world, the outer world will seem Krishnamai. Okay, you will see God everywhere. It is our inner world which creates all the turbulence in our mind. Oh my God, that senses come in contact with the sense objects, and all of a sudden it can light up your mind and everything. So fixing the inner world is the objective of spirituality, and sadhana helps us do that. Because how you will fix inner world? When you do sadhana, it will result in cleansing of the antakaran. We spoke that our antakaran is like an old soiled cloth, right? We spoke about this concept. If we were to talk about our mind or antakaran, it is a very old and a dirty cloth. And because of that, there are so many impressions and chitta vrittis there, which keeps on creating those fleeting feelings from time to time. And once that is fixed, everything is smooth. Even for the saints, it was the same world. They never found any faults in this world. So fixing an inner world is the primary, is the, sadhana is basically helps us do that. Next question is, which one is the prime requisite out of the following modes of service? This is a very good one. So some people said body. Shramdan, we do Shramdan. Shramdan is when you go to a temple and help out with the activities there. You give your time. Wealth also, we provide tan, man, dhan. But right, the majority of you went with mind, and which is right. See, when you give your mind, automatically you will give your body, and wealth will follow automatically, because when you are attached to something with mind, rest has to follow. And where your attachment is, how do we find it easily? We simply look at our credit card bill. Okay, wherever most of the money is going, that is where our attachment is. So when your mind is in God, in seva, then other two will automatically follow. But if your mind is not there, it's a good start to maybe start giving your time, shramdan and the dhan. Dhan comes first. It is the lowest level, when you start giving. Then comes tan, and then finally comes man. But if your man comes, dhan and tan will automatically follow, because that's where your time, money, and other things will start going in. So that is how this process will break. Very nice questions, Rahul, that you have created. Helps us revise, recap all these concepts. Right? We have those artis also in our tradition. Om Jai Jagdish Hare, Kya Lage Mera, Tan Man Dhan Sab Tera, Tera Tujhko Arpan, all that stuff, right? We're used to saying. So this is essentially what it is. So Tan Man Dhan Sab Tera. If you have man, you surrender your man or start giving your man, the tan and dhan will automatically follow. Okay, man, that is how this hierarchy goes. So everybody got it right, which is fantastic. Moving on to the next question. Which important ingredients are required while performing seva to Hari and Guru? Somebody said love and selfish attitude as well. Okay, that's a pretty interesting take. And who's that? Would you like to raise your hand and explain what made you say so? Anybody? I mean, or was it because of a mistake? I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you feel that, we can have a good discussion on it. Majority of you, 57 out of 58, they have gone with love and selfless attitude. Yes, Jyoti, you are the one. Are you the rebel here?
No, Radhe Radhe, Nitinji, I am not the rebel, but I was thinking what could be the possible reason someone would have chosen. So when we want to go to near Krishna, so that is also a little bit of selfishness over there, that we are doing this to reach to you. So that way, that answer also is correct.
That is true. Selfish attitude. We spoke about Sadharani Rati, right? They love God for their own sake. Very true. That could be there as well. When you are, God says yen ken prakaran. Even if you love me for your own sake, still I will, come and meet. You may not get the topmost price, but you will still get God realization. It's like God is like a philosopher's stone or a paraspani. Whether you do it in whatever sentiment, it will still give you the fruit. So yes, the most important now, nishkamta is very important. Even if you look at a lot of religious traditions, the seva is emphasized a lot, and especially in Sikhism, the buzzword is, if you go to a langar in a gurdwara, nishkam seva is the buzzword. If you simply do nishkam seva, you will keep on progressing at a very fast pace. And it is said the more menial activity you pick up, the faster you get purified. Menial activity like, serving or picking up after people have eaten, or washing utensils, or just stacking up shoes for people. So those kind of services, when we render in temple or other places with a nishkam bhav, then it is very, very purifying. Okay, so God has designed it in this way, that nishkamta gives us a very high level of spiritual merit. So that's the fastest way, one of the fastest way to progress on that path, by bringing in the sentiments of nishkamta. All right, so moving on. The purpose of satsang. Now, purpose of satsang is to deliberately absorb the mind in dash activities. Now, somebody is playing pranks here who said worldly. By the way, you could have gone for mundane. Okay, why worldly? Both are same. But majority of you are going with devotional. Anybody who wants to say why worldly? Or it's like that person who picked up, selling combs to a bald guy. That kind of an answer. Okay. So you want to come, okay, maybe it was just done for the sake of doing. So yeah, the idea of satsang is to deliberately means consciously means mindfully, absorb mind in devotional activities. You build those sentiments, and this is a great way to immerse our mind in Roop Dhyan, because those kirtans, when we sit in satsangs, or even otherwise, there may not be kirtans, even when we are doing Bhagavad Gita, recitation or discussion, when we hear it with faith and devotion, then God actually, he said that I am the one who establishes the faith within you. So he takes note of it, that he's putting a lot of faith in my words, and showing that sincerity and earnestness to understand it. So he's going to make it pakka by sitting inside and establish that faith that is needed to progress further. This is how the process unfolds. So God is, the key thing is we have to deliberately, thoughtfully choose those sentiments when we are sitting, because mind may not cooperate at times. You might be sitting in a satsang and then it might run away back into the world. But that is an opportunity where we can truly engage and reap the benefits of a satsang during satsangs, especially when we are sitting with like-minded people. So there are three kinds of devotees, right? There are three kinds of devotees. The first kind of devotees is their goal is world, and the means that they use is also the world. Okay, then the second kind of devotees is their goal is world, and the means is God. Right? They go to God and ask for world. Right? Like we usually go to temple, give me this, give me that, all that stuff happens. Right? The first time of devotees are their means is basically, and then the first is, sorry, I should say the means is God and their goal is world. The better category of second kind of devotees is their goal is God and the means is world. How? They think that through their own practices they can attain God. Right? People go for different kind of practices, spiritual practices, Kundalini Jagaran, Siddhis, Mantra Siddhi, all that stuff. Where is God there? Nobody, nowhere. So that means they use the world to attain God. They think that can happen. The third and the most superior kind of devotee is their means is God and the goal is also God. They understand, they have the humility to understand that without God's grace, they cannot attain God. So right from the word go, they ask God for God, and they practice this humility that they are nirashrit. They cannot rely on their intellect, they cannot rely on their spiritual practice, they cannot rely on their own sadhana to attain God. And those are the highest level of devotees. Most of the people, they get stuck in first or second stages only. The first stage is you are going to God, but your secret stash is world. Okay, you are doing bhakti of world under the disguise of spirituality. That is the first level of devotee. The second level is you are seeking God, but then you have the false pride that you can do it through your self effort alone, by studying scriptures, by doing Kundalini Jagaran, by doing some spiritual entertainment and stuff like that. Third one are the devotees in true sense who understand that without God's grace, you cannot attain God. So they practice humility and go to God for God. So they ask God for bhakti. The fruit of bhakti is bhakti, and the means of attaining bhakti is more bhakti. That is how they go about it. So with that said, any questions on any of the questions which did not make sense? Hope it was a quick recap, and thank you, Rahul, for putting it together. Beautiful questions, helped us recap some of these concepts. Are we good? Or anybody has any questions on the topic that we discussed today? Yes, Shalini ji.
Sorry, Radhe Radhe. I just wanted a clarification, and when you talked about, I must have missed the session. I'm sorry. When you just now talked about the first two categories of the devotees, will they still be graced even if they're pursuing, just maybe they don't know it in ignorance and they are worshipping, and so will they still get the grace and then evolve to the third stage of
It's not a
devotion?
No, it's not a sequential process that they have to go through those stages first. The principle of grace is very simple. You get grace of God when you are surrendered.
Mm.
So those two devotees, they are not surrendered. The first kind of devotee is surrendered to the world. They are not surrendered to the God. God is just a means.
Uh-huh.
And the second kind of devotee is surrendered to their own intellect. They are not surrendered to God. They think by their practices, they can attain God. In fact, I know some people who say that if I do this, divinity has to grace me. It has to, no choice. That means that becomes the price of divinity or to attract grace, and it is priceless. So they will fall short of the grace until they reach to the third. So the only way to cross over Maya is to surrender in front of God, basically surrender to God and Guru. There's no other way. They will learn it the hard way, but the point is they cannot cross over Maya. You could become spiritually elevated, but not God realized. You are still delving in Maya. You might be able to do astral travel, you might be able to sit in samadhi for long. All this is fine, but have you transcended Maya is the question, and that can happen only when God graces, and God graces only when you are sharnagat to him. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that sarv dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam braj. So he said, when you surrender unto me, that's when you cross over Maya. Otherwise you cannot. Very simple.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Okay, so with that, let's move on to another interesting topic, since we have time, and we'll spend some time in other stuff as well. Now, okay, time is passing by, and we are leading a life. You see, this is how the clock keeps on running. There is a saying in Hindi, subah hoti hai, sham hoti hai, zindagi tamam hoti hai. So that's what is happening, okay, every day. And then every moment we have a choice to make. Okay. Now let's start with our car. So when we drive a car, we have a dash. What is this called? It's called a windscreen, I believe. Right? It's a windscreen, pretty huge, right? As you're looking at. So there's a windscreen here. And then also we have something called a rear view mirror. We see that rear view mirror as well. Both are there. Which one is bigger? Okay, it's not a rocket science question. Okay, I was just checking if you're still paying attention. Yes, Shyamji, we'll get into that. Now, if you look at it, the windshield is forward looking and it's big, of course, right? So the focus needs to be more on the windshield, forward looking, what's coming ahead, and it's bigger for a reason. And if you look at the rear wheel, it is backward looking and it's small. Right? So from that standpoint, we have to look at it in our life. Are we forward looking, right? Or are we backward looking? Do we look back at what has happened and keep cribbing about it, lamenting about it, or paying a lot of attention to that part, which is anyway gone by? Or we are looking ahead, which is how it is meant to be, even when we are driving a car, right? So life basically needs to be looked upon as a windshield, where you're looking ahead, thinking ahead, with a bigger mirror, as opposed to thinking back. Okay, so that is the key concept here. And second important thing from a car that we can learn before we can have a bit of a discussion around this concept is, if you look at, car also has a spare wheel, and at the same time It has a steering wheel. The other problem that happens is, first of all, we think too much about the past. If we are too much backward looking, then it can cause problems in our life. We are not able to live in the moment and not able to focus basically on what is lying ahead. The second problem happens is when we call upon God as a spare wheel. Things go wrong, then we remember God. Oh God, what happened? Oh God, my God, this God, right? So basically, we think of God something as a spare wheel. When things don't go well, when I have an exam or something that I need for, let's use it like a spare wheel. The scriptures tell us, use God as a steering wheel who should be guiding your life at every moment, taking inspiration from God and using it as a guiding force as opposed to something you pull out when you need it. Right? Kabir Das ji doha is there. Sukh mein sumiran sab kare, dukh mein kare na koe. जब दुख में सुमिरन करो, जब सुख में भी सुमिरन करो तो दुख काहे को होए. So the point here being that the spirituality is not something that has to be called upon only when things go bad in life. Spirituality and is something that has to be a way of life, is what our scriptures are telling, because we can't dig wells when the house is on fire. Similarly, God is not something we call upon as a rescue boy when things start going haywire. Regardless whether things are fine or not, we use it as a guiding wheel, because and build that consciousness is essentially what the message of Bhagavad Gita is as well, right? Sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmar, regardless of situation we are in, and then things will start falling in place. So these are the two key things that I picked up from driving a car. Hopefully it was of some value. Any point, anything you wanted to discuss about it or what we have spoken about so far? Any questions? Yes, Rahul.
There is a question from Ganpriya ji. It is not related to the slide, but she asked that crossing over, how do we know we are crossing over Maya? Any symptoms?
Any symptoms? Yeah, we spoke about this concept in Bhakti, the different stages of Bhakti. So the stage that we are in, it's called Sadhan Bhakti, where we are trying to work on ourselves. We are trying to cleanse our antakaran. We are trying to increase our spirit of sacrifice and surrender. So some of the symptoms of Sadhan Bhakti are, it reduces FIR. FIR is the, we know the acronym FIR. It's not the first information report. It is the frequency, the intensity, and the rebound, recurrence or rebound, right? That will decrease of what? Of anger, of bitterness, of resentment, of envy, of not being able to forgive. All these things, the frequency, the intensity, and R stands for rebound, right? And the rebound will be quicker, or recurrence will be less. These are some of the symptoms where you can measure yourself. Am I getting better at these things or not? Or am I getting angry more frequently or less frequently? Is the intensity of my anger has reduced or not? Is the recurrence or rebound is quicker than before or not? Previously, you'll fight with somebody, it would take a month or a year or maybe a lifetime. Now it may happen within a week or 2 days. Then the intensity, previously you will split your hair. Now you just give it a small cut, right? Or the rebound, previously it would take you a lot of time to come back out of it. You're just not finding it difficult to forgive or let go of it. But now you're able to move on just like that, both in letter and spirit. So these are some of the symptoms that you are progressing in sadhan bhakti. You have not crossed over Maya yet, okay? But you have taken steps. You're making progress. These are some of the signs. The second sign is, now you're getting into bhav bhakti. Bhav bhakti means your disposition towards thinking about God starts becoming natural. That means you don't have to put an effort to take your mind to God. Initially, you have to when you sit in your ekant sadhana or otherwise, because world will keep coming back in your head. But the other symptom is, now when you start getting into bhav bhakti, the reverse starts happening. Your natural disposition is in God. And for you to operate effectively, you have to step down now. Okay, that is the second symptom. And then the third symptom is that Krishna will directly come in front of you when you reach the peak of Bhav Bhakti, and then you are beyond Maya. At that time, you will not need a proof, you will get a darshan. Okay, so that is how it works. Hope I answered your question. All right. Yeah.
There is another comment in the chat from Snehalji. What is the difference between being religious and being spiritual?
It's a good question. If you are religious, it will, yeah. So being religious and being spiritual, it's a very important question to understand. So you could be spiritual without being religious, right? And you could be religious without being spiritual. And you could be both religious and spiritual. All three can happen. I'll try. If you are religious, your dadima and mummy and people will be happy, right? In India, they say very puja parthi. You are doing all the rituals and Vaidi bhakti and all that stuff. You are just doing the worship of rituals. That is being religious, where you are following your traditions. You are worshipping your traditions. Spirituality is going deeper. It's like developing love for God, not just limiting yourself to traditions only. Most of the problems in the world happens because of fanaticism, because that religious lines, they become so solidified in our heads that we think that that is the be all and end all of everything. So that fanaticism is breeded from religiosity. Spirituality is unifying. When somebody becomes spiritual, they understand these are just an outer covering. Nobody is basically entitled to a particular religion, country, sect, caste, creed, or for that matter, species also. We all are humans. End of the day, it's a relationship between you and God. Okay, then you don't look at any other divisions that you have no credit for. What? There's no guarantee, right? Where God will put us next time. So you start understanding the deeper principles. So religion should be a stepping stone to spirituality. Spirituality is unifying. Religion could be unifying as well, provided you understand the deeper concepts. But more often than not, people limit themselves to the ritualistic aspect of it alone. And they think if they put a tika, they are a Hindu. And if they put, the other topi, then they are a Muslim. That is a religion. Okay, it's not going into the deeper science of humans versus God. So you could be religious yet not spiritual, and you could be spiritual without being religious. Both are possible. And you could be religious as well as spiritual, because religion is just a means to spirituality at that point for you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. And so Surinderji comments, religious is external while spiritual is internal.
That is true. Religious is more about your outer, what defines you. Spiritual is more of it's a science between humans and God. Spirituality, the premise of spirituality is that you are all spirit souls. When you are spirit souls, then what's the question? I mean, there is no designation or a label to a spirit soul that the spirit soul is, an Indian or a Chinese or a Bangladeshi, or for that matter, anything, right? Spirit soul is spirit soul. Yes.
Radhe Radhe Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe, Nitiji, just one thought. Two side mirrors and one rear view mirror are also available, right, in the car. So we can say that looking back at past and not actually repeating the same mistakes is also important.
Yep. Hindsight is a great leveler. So as long as we can learn the lessons without dwelling or harboring too much upon it, that's the way to proceed further. Yeah. Thank you, Parnaji. By the way, I've already announced about Heart Symposium. Hope you have taken that message to your heart and will turn up tomorrow, for the symposium. It's a great opportunity. So do come to the temple tomorrow. Yes, Prabhatji, you had a question too?
Before that, can I read a comment from Shalanji? She says, the analogy of the car is really very, very creative. Thank you for explaining it so clearly.
Okay, my pleasure. Hopefully, if it struck chord with you in any way, I think the purpose of this slide and session is served. So thank you very much for that.
Radhe Radhe Prabhatji.
Radhe Radhe. So basically, I want to know that something about the clutch and accelerator balance that we have to do when we are driving, because it is also very important portion when we talk about the car, and there is use of brake, that at particular time we also need to use brake, and gear is also there to shift one speed to another speed. So I just want you to highlight these parameters.
Right. I didn't pick up. Yeah, very true. We have to shift gears also, right? Now in Varnashram Dharam also we shift gears based on which station we are in, and when we have to put our foot on the accelerator, and at the same time we need to know when to apply brake. So yes, if you take this discussion further, you can pick up all those things and actually apply it to the spirituality. That is what I'm saying. Once you start tuning to spirituality or the higher principles, anything and everything that you see around, there is some kind of a lesson going on. So very nicely, very nice, Prabhat, you brought up that point. We can certainly extend this argument to the other functions of the car as well. Very creative. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe, Anita ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Nitin ji, you were talking about FIR. In that FIR, that R stands for recovery time. Like how soon we recover from whatever the thing we get into that negative stuff. So earlier the frequency would be more longer time. As you progress gradually, it will reduce over the time. So that is the thing.
So
Thank you,
I
Radhe.
use the word rebound basically. So I don't know why I pick up complicated words, but yeah, recovery is the right one. Very true. Thank you. It is said in English, don't use a $5 word if you can use a cent for or a dime for that. But I somehow recovery did not come to my mind, so I recovered by using rebound. Thank you, Anita ji. Yes, Monica ji, you're going to say something now. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, enthusiastic team lead ji.
Religious.
Team lead.
Please go ahead.
Yes, between religious and Radhe Radhe everyone. And Radhe Radhe Rahul ji for asking me, telling me KV product, right? Okay. So I had this encounter, not really encounter, but then a very, very good experience with Swamiji. I was lucky that I had that conversation with him that day. So this is about, again, spiritual and religion, right? So the religious Hindu in me asked Swamiji about, why do we cut cakes and stuff in the temple, right? We have like 14,000 kind of varieties in our Sanatan Dharma, and why are we, putting everything down and then just cutting cakes in the temple, right? So Swamiji looked at me and said, because Krishna was not Indian. And obviously, 1,000 things started coming to me as to, I started contemplating as to, why would he say that? Because I was like, I want to say Kattar Hindu at that time, last year. So then I looked at him in amazement that, then who was he, Swamiji? And then Swamiji said that he was born in India, he chose India, but he was not an Indian. Unka to pura Brahmand hai, and that changed my perspective, right? Just one line, and that changed my perspective. That I was asking, why are we limiting ourselves to cake? And I was limiting Krishna to only India and maybe just Vrindavan, right? So I just wanted to share that.
Beautiful.
Thank
See
you.
how nicely he countered a religious question by a spiritual principle.
Yes.
How beautiful it is. How can we claim
Yes.
he's Indian just because he chose to be born in India does not make him an Indian, right? Right. So beautiful question, because he's a Brahmand Nayak, right?
Brahmand Nayak, yes.
He's a Brahmand Nayak. He's residing, whether you are a Christian, Muslim, Jew, whoever you are, as long as you are a human or a sentient insane, everything is permeated by him. That is what scriptures tell us, the very definition of God. So spirituality helps us. It's unifying. We understand the deeper knowledge about it. Religion is more a kind of a cosmetic thing that humans have devised for their identity. But truly speaking, religion should also lead us to God. As long as it is happening, religion is good. But more often than not, religion becomes divisive and we just get hung up on the cosmetic part of it and then start fighting and feeling bitter about each other. And that is not how it should be. Okay. So with that, I wanted to announce one thing. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to announce something that is going to be very, very exciting for all the Seva teams, as well as the Seva team leads. I don't know who will feel more happy. One will feel happy, another will feel happier, and I'll feel the happiest. Okay. So let's look at it. So the discussion now that we have everybody, I see that people have started. In fact, the score has already soared to 3 figures for a lot of teams. The next thing I wanted to have a bit of a team bonding time. Okay. And what better way to do it than each team truly living up to their name, bond together and do a presentation. Okay, what that particular thing means. So you'll have to do a bit of a research. You'll have to talk to each other. You'll have to create a presentation, and then you have to put in a joint effort. And what we are going to do for the teams is, of course, there are going to be points there as well, right? So the presentation, creative presentation, your groundwork, and how many people come forward to present it, of going to get credit for that. Okay. Now you have to work as a team, and we'll start from next Friday so that you give a presentation, 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that. And who gets the first privilege? We don't want to be partial or seem biased. So what I have come for that is, are you able to see this wheel? Is everybody able to see this wheel? Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to spin it and we'll see who gets the first privilege to do that presentation. Okay. So you can actually be very creative around it. Vinamra, enthusiastic, selfless, and Ananya. Okay. Go ahead and tell what your team stands for and what it means. And I look forward to those presentations. So let me spin the wheel and see who gets the first privilege. Selfless mixture. Ananya team. Ananya team is going first. Can you raise the hand, the team lead, please?
Shri Ramya ji, are you here?
Shirame ji, you have to get some points by putting on your video, by the way.
No, I don't think that he's there. Yeah.
All right, we'll make it.
Anyone else from the team right now here? They can also raise their hand. Rajita ji.
All right. So no, we'll let Shri Ramya ji know. So let's move
Yeah.
on. First team is Ananya. Okay, next Friday. And then the following, let's look at it. Vinamra team is next. You can raise your hand. Vinamra team leader, please. There you go. And Aparna ji, very nice. So you are next. Hopefully you can take note of your thing. Let's move on. Shyamji, yours lucky days there today. See, you get a lot of time, Shyamji, to prepare with your team. Okay. So now let's see which team comes. Okay. I think no prizes for guessing who it's going to be, but let's see, man. Okay. Who comes up now? Oh my God. Congratulations, Monica ji. You're not left out. So I can't believe your luck today. But you get the most time. So game on. All of you can start preparing and become as creative as you want. There's tons of literature. I think I'll leave it up to you. Okay.
Nitin ji, do we want to announce any time frame for the presentation?
Yeah, I said about 10 minutes. Right? 10 minutes. I mean, 10 to 12 minutes should be good enough. Followed by Q&A. And it will take a lot of, what do you call that? You'll get marks for points, special points for your creativity, the team presentation. You don't want a couple of individuals pulling the weight. More people come forward and present and talk about, the better it is. And of course, your creativity and groundwork that you do. Okay. And how best you are able to talk about the concept or the word that your team stands for. Like we have 4 houses now. So I look forward to that. And judge's decision is going to be final decision around the points. No controversies, no questions around that. And I really look forward to these presentations. Okay, we'll take a back seat and get you guys going. Great. Any questions on that from anyone? Okay, by the way, I just wanted to make sure a lot of people are social media shy. Social media shy. Yeah, I'm one of those as well. Used to be for most part. So that is fine. You don't have to expose yourself to your friends, family, and the entire world that all of a sudden you have become that weirdo Radhe Radhe guy. if that is what you feel. So we have a lot of back-end work, co-hosting. You can do so many sessions are going on. You can do co-hosting, you can help out in content creation, you can help, edit some of the summaries for so many sessions that are any kind of seva you can pick up, where you don't have to declare to the world that you are doing Hare Krishna and Radhe Radhe now, okay? So don't feel shy about it. Still participate in seva. We have enough opportunities to keep you engaged around that. So just wanted to make it clear that don't think that seva means that you have to go out on Insta, Facebook, and all those places. Okay, there are other ways we can engage you as well. Okay, maybe 2 more questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is a comment in the chat. What will this presentation be about? I guess it is about based on the names
Yeah.
of
Names. What does your name stand for? What Ananya? What does it Ananya mean, right? What does your team stand for? Anything, be creative around it. So the theme should be around the name, the team name that you have. If you're enthusiastic, why should we believe you're enthusiastic? No, I'm just throwing out stuff. Selfless, Ananya, they're all spiritual concepts, right? So you can really go into that and be creative around it. 10 minutes is a lot of time, and just figure out, 10 to 15 minutes we'll keep, 10 to 15, not more than that. That is more than enough time. And then we can have a Q&A sessions around that as well, a little bit. So one session we'll devote to that. I hope you've gotten your order. The first one is Sandhya.
Ananya, Vinamra, selfless, enthusiastic.
Cool. And you don't negotiate with each other, okay, by swapping or all that is. And then we'll see which all days we can use. We could start next Friday, but we could utilize sessions on any of the weekdays as well, but be prepared, and that's how we'll take it. And the heart symposium, again, I'm telling you, it's a good way to get your heart checked before the Valentine's Day. Next week, we will do a special session on Valentine's. That is on Monday, Tuesday morning for you, where we'll talk about love, true love, and love in general. Okay, so you'll find it pretty interesting and engaging. So do call up your friends and family around that as well, especially people who are interested in this topic of love. And we will get really deep into that concept and look at it from a scriptural perspective. We'll celebrate Valentine Day in daily wisdom Bhagavad Gita style. Okay. Yes, Shyamji, you wanted to say something? We have 2 more minutes, so maybe a minute each. We have a hard stop.
Thank you so much for telling us what you all stand for. In the meantime, if we can also know हमारे judges कौन रहेंगे, ताकि उनसे we can talk one-to-one before we start the presentation. Just thought.
Judges will be completely anonymous, okay, so that no influence negotiation can happen prior. Okay, one of the judges is here in this group only, but I'll not disclose the name. So stay tuned on that. But
thank you for telling us the group people इसी में से हैं, so we can talk. I can call everybody in person and let them know who we stand for. It's a very good point, Nitin, to know us, to tell us what we stand for. It is a very good initiative for all of us to understand what does these all words mean. Seva means.
It's important to get to the skin of your name to be able to deliver in that spirit, right? So that's the whole idea. Plus, it gives you a good opportunity to have a bit of a bonding time with your team as well. So
जब ये जो बनाए हैं groups, can we call them, talk to them? Is it okay to call the people in our group?
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, with your team, you can have Zoom calls, you can have phone calls. That's team bonding, whatever way works.
So team are okay with that ways. Is that okay? No, we can call them, chat them, call them. They're okay with whatever we do.
If someone is not okay, they will inform like that. But
They will let you know. But I'm sure nobody is going to sue each other here just because they called them.
I'm sure because people in US very fond of suing. So हम भारत में तो हम sue करेंगे तो it will take ages, but वहाँ पर तो it's instant.
I think it should be okay. Should be okay.
Thank you, Tuman. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, another minute. Sandhya, you wanted to add something?
Just quickly, actually, there were some comments. Surendraji suggested that on Valentine's Day special session, we could probably describe LOVE of love, just like SEVA of seva.
Sure. We'll talk about love. The theme will be love for that couple of days at least. So please stay tuned and you'll love it. That much I can tell you. Okay. So thank you, everybody. It's time now. I'll hand it over to Sunil Bhai and Ajay. I think I see them. Over to you, Sunil Bhai. And I made your announcements at least 3 times, Sunil Bhai. Okay, in case you didn't take notice. So I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow and others as well. Radhe Radhe from my side.